Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well and everything is good. It is Thursday, October 17th, and this market is back on a insane bid here pre-market. The S&P 500 has made a new all-time high. The Nasdaq continues to chug along, and a lot of this is in part due to TSM earnings. So, the huge chip company, right? It's up aggressively here pre-market after it reports earnings and saves everyone, right? It's up 9%. We got the opposite side of what happened with ASML earlier on this week, and we've rebounded super aggressively, pulling chips up. So net income 325.3 billion Taiwanese dollars, which is $10.1 billion US over the July-September quarter. And it surpassed the LSEG estimate of 300 billion Taiwanese dollars. The revenue came in at $23.5 billion in the third quarter, up 36% year on year. And we also have a massive soar in AI demand that's really propelling this thing up to the upside swing. So a lot of momentum here, not only in TSM and in chips, but also the overall market as the S&P has climbed into a new all-time high. We're trading at 23.25. The high is 21.5. The prior high, I don't know why I have all these lines. Let's erase those. The prior all-time high was about like 18.5 or something. So just continued momentum to the upside swing on this good news. So it was just a little blip, right? That ASML pulled things down just for bigger and stronger buyers to come into these prices. So pretty exciting momentum to the upside. We'll see if that wants to continue throughout the day. I think naturally there should be some kind of profit taking, some kind of pullback that comes into this market so that better buyers can come in and just eat up these dips realistically. So there's also a big shift in big tech. It looks like they might be going nuclear power, right? Amazon has joined tech giants Google and Microsoft, announcing $500 million of investments in atomic energy in a bid to satiate its data center demands and artificial intelligence ambitions while continuing to meet its clean energy goals. So Amazon up a little pre-market here. Microsoft bounced up nicely yesterday. Google is still holding out fairly decent, but a lot of this big tech, Apple even made a new all-time high recently. A lot of this big tech is starting to revive itself, which is helping these markets populate to the upside. So Amazon on Wednesday said that it signed a deal with Dominion Energy to explore building a small modular nuclear reactor near North Anna Station, and Amazon would also invest in reactor developer X Energy and collaborate with regional utility consortium Energy Northwest. Just days before Google announced that its agreement to purchase power generated from multiple smaller module reactors to build by nuclear energy startup Kairos Power. And not only this, Microsoft has also teamed up with Constellation Energy to resurrect a unit of 3 Mile Island nuke plant in Pennsylvania. So the fact of the matter is that AI models require loads and loads of electricity, and this is because the vast amount of data that these models have to compute to generate responses. To give an idea, a basic text response from these AI models can generate enough energy to power a 10-watt LED light bulb for an hour. In comparison, a typical Google search can consume electricity equivalent to powering a 10-watt LED bulb for about 2 minutes. So in that context, nuclear energy appears favorable over wind or solar, as nuclear creates a larger amount of power that is stable and consistently available on demand, also cleaner. So we'll see how that kind of affects these big tech names, but so far, especially with the TSM earnings jumped up 9%, up 9 and a bit percent pre-market. Massive boost in AI demand is helping this market sustain this upside bid, which is very, very healthy, I guess, from that pullback, if you will. I don't know how healthy it is in the medium to longer term, but these guys rallied this super aggressively overnight. You can take a look here. Triple Qs, for example, up pre-market. Oodles and oodles of percent, right? 1.15. And the SPY is at new all-time highs for the billionth time over and over again. So there's not too much other news. We had some jobless claims this morning, which helped propel this upside. You can see the Nasdaq here on the top chart is just like exploding to the upside. The next target is around that 610 area. We're above a lot of balances. The S&P at a new all-time high as well. No stopping this pump, baby. So we don't have too much news, like I said. I guess we have business inventories at 10, housing market index at 10. We have some EIA, natural gas and petroleum inventories on Fed's Goolsby speaks at 11 a.m. Eastern today. So not the most to update realistically here. We're just continuing this monstrous bid, potentially trading up into that 600 area here on the NASDAQ. The S&P into a new all-time high, who knows, right? There's literally the sky's the limit at this point. We could see that expansion continuously press, but as long as we hold above these all-time highs, right, I guess like around 59.15 on the S&P seems reasonable. But when you get this large expansive move in the morning session pre-market, you do generally see some kind of profit taking to come out of the market, pull these guys back a little before maybe a potential bid. So realistically, if the S&P loses the 59.10 area, I do think that we could sweep some of this low volume and clean this thing up before more buying comes in. Alternatively, right, we open and the market just expands to the upside super aggressively and we just get this monstrous bid, right? That's another factor here. So I do like to stay on the long side, but I'm going to be very, very cautious as to potential of some profit taking trying to come in. Right, S&P just continues to explode higher right now, trading. It just traded 27. So the market's not even open, and the pump is just continuing. So the deeper we go into this all-time high, right, the further away we go from the prior high and the prior volume, which sits up at this like 15 area on the S&P, which is a reasonable region to look for that long continuation. So realistically, if the S&P loses 59.10 today, that's when things get a little sour. So it's very, very imperative that the buyers look at this, the heavier, strong-handed market participants look at this off the open and say, you know what, it looks undervalued even, and start bidding it. But I think the reality of the situation is we do get some kind of pullback before we continue this consistent rally, if we do continue the consistent rally. So S&P, we start losing the 59.10. I think that upside can be fairly limited from there, and we clean up a lot of the auction. The NASDAQ, realistically, if we start moving under 510, 520, right, then we start shifting gears a little. Right now, the top band around 610, 620 is a main target for the NASDAQ to see if we can continue this press towards, right? We're still very far from an all-time high, but the potential is there realistically. So let's see how this shapes up. Let's open up our live room and take a few minutes to let this thing dissolve and take a few trades. So we had some of this long side, especially on options, doing pretty well. I'm probably just going to cut these off the open because this